You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Sports Show. I'm your host, Cole James Rambo. This is my confidant, Joey.
Hello.
Back again. I feel like every week I get more and more excited to do this show.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Well, when you said confidant, I feel like I need to be wearing like a suit and just have like that.
Well, it's like I'm going through all the terms of friendship that are in the Golden Girls theme song.
Okay.
You're a pal and a confidant, right? So it's like you can be a friend, a pal, a confidant.
Okay.
And if I threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me. And the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend."
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
So that's where we're at there. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Bungalow Sports Show. We're keeping this bad boy rolling, and it has ignited my passion for sports across the board. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
Like, you think we'd get more professional. If we got more professional, the burps would slow down. But
Yeah.
I'm a GERD boy, dude. I've got acid reflux, GERD, indigestion. So shut up, all right? It's a natural thing, okay? I'm not sure that the sports fans will be as forgiving of the burps as like the old Bungalow Chat Show fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
well, hopefully most of them are the same babies, you know.
But no, for real though, it's ignited my love for sports doing this show, like because I'm constantly looking for stuff to talk about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like. I have so many like headlines by the time I make this rundown that I have to like cut a bunch out.
Some of them, yeah.
Because like at the beginning of the week, because usually if I'm scrolling or something, if I see a headline, I'll screenshot it or whatever like that. And just so like when I go back to make the rundown, I go through all my pictures and my notes and stuff to see. And it's like, oh yeah, that at the beginning of the week, but it's like, oh yeah, that's not really. We don't need to talk about that a week later, because it's like I'm all excited. The show comes out Monday, and then Tuesday I see a bunch of stuff, but then by the time Saturday rolls around, it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't
it wasn't big.
Yeah, in the moment, I was oh, like if we were doing a daily show, it'd definitely be something that we would talk about.
Right.
Since we only get to do this once a week, we got to save the good stuff.
Yeah.
Today's show, this is exciting. Today's show is brought to you by Betalytics. It's a real deal, man. We got a promo code, 25% off your profile at betalytics.com if you use the promo code PEAK1. All right? PEAK1, promo code, 25% off. If you're like a real deal bettor and you're trying to take your betting to the next level, Joey's been looking over some of this stuff. It's pretty high level.
It is.
It is predictive data research for sports bettors, powerful sports betting software and research assistance tools, empowering bettors to make more accurate selections.
It's pretty crazy,
right?
Yeah.
They've got AI, machine learning algorithms. They quickly identify the hottest trends and the biggest edges you can make. So this stuff, this is like for real high level bettors. If you're not high level, go try it out. You get 25% off with promo code PEAK1.
And here's what's kind of cool about it is that if you don't give a toot about hockey or the stuff that we talk about on here, you can do specialized ones. So if you wanted just basketball, just baseball, just hockey, they got it all right there for you. Or you can do the monthly subscription for all of it.
Right.
And you get it all. It's pretty amazing. Well,
and it's like they do accurate game simulations, player prop projections, betting line evaluations, best bet recommendations, all kinds of stuff, man. So Betalytics.com, promo code PEAK1, 25% off.
Give it a shot.
Sign up monthly, sign up yearly. Just go give it a shot, for that 25% off. And if you hate it, get rid of it.
We know most of you degenerates are out there betting, man.
Well, yeah,
why not give yourself all the tools?
And that's the thing is like I am on a betting hiatus right now because of me. I trust my gut too much.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm one of these guys who I've watched sports my whole life. I can predict these things, and it's like no. you now that we have algorithms, now that we have all these statistic machines that can tell you trends and things like that, you'd be stupid not to use something like Betalytics. If you're a daily bettor, if you're somebody who's constantly putting money down on sporting events, this just gives you that extra edge, you know. And
exactly,
whatever it is you're going to pay for your Betalytics profile is probably less than what you're going to lose if you don't have a Betalytics profile. So, Betalytics.com, Peak1 is the promo code, 25% off. Go check it out. Thank you, guys. It's weird having an actual sponsor, an actual promo code. You know what I mean? Like my whole podcasting career, I've had sponsors, but it's always just been like people I know and just trying to help their business out and things like that. You know what I mean? But this is the real deal. All right. Go check out Betalytics and
stop betting with your emotions.
Yeah,
bet with them algorithms, baby.
That's right, buddy. Step into the future. It's the future of Betalytics, the future of betting.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
We're gonna cut that into a commercial right there. All right, dude. We got to update. We have to give an update on the 100 subscriber challenge.
Okay, sorry.
Wait, no, what?
No, it's later. It's later.
Okay. The 100 subscriber challenge. All right, we are well on our way to 100. All right, the numbers are growing weekly, and that's great. That's fantastic. But it seems like some people are getting a little fever pitch for these shot callers in the comment section on the YouTube. Yeah. All right. And although I love the enthusiasm, you know, even Clay, our buddy Clay, comes out and he's like, we got to do, you know, and maybe the best idea involving the shot caller, which is sports trivia, and you get the wrong answer, you get shocked. That's if we were to incorporate a shot caller into the challenge, that might be the best idea.
Right.
But I'm going to give you guys a little quote from my wife. All right. And she looked at me the other morning when I saw yet another comment on the YouTube about the shot callers. She looks at me and she goes, "You're 40. You don't put on a shot collar. Yeah. You're 40." And I'm like, okay. And then Chris, my hetero life mate, my best buddy since we were 4 years old, he's been in the comments. He's been watching the shows. He calls me out of the blue. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, "You did your time. You did your shot collar time. You don't put on a shot collar." Right? And I can't disagree, you know what I mean? He's like, you did your jackass years are behind you. All right?
Respect.
You know, and I you know, although I'm a people pleaser.
I was at PetSmart yesterday.
Looking at shot collars. I think we'll Amazon those if we do it, Joey, okay? But, yeah, you know, and I'm a people pleaser, and I love it when people like my stuff and the stuff we do, so I'm just constantly trying to make – and I know it would make people happy for us to put on shot collars. But I'm putting my foot down. We're not fucking doing shot collars. All right?
What are we doing instead?
I mean, we got to get there first, but you know, I sent you a picture the other day. Christopher, same guy. He took his kids to a park in Manteca, which is a town over from where we are here in California, and there is actually a legitimate wiffle ball field that they built in this park with a home plate and a fence and everything. So that would be perfect spot for a home run derby. So what I've been thinking about since he sent me that, because now I'm like, okay, remember, like I originally was like thinking in the vein of like the punt pass kick competition, like a 3-way competition, winner of 2 out of the 3, you know, wins the whole thing. And I'm thinking now that we've got this pretty legit wiffle ball field that we could film some pretty cool footage and a pretty funny little home run derby. We've got the ice at Stockton that we can do our shootout. And, you know, Danny there's such a cool dude. I guarantee you he'd film it for us while we were doing it so we could get some pretty cool footage and cut together a pretty legit little, you know, we could make this like a legit little like 30-minute, you know, little
video. Segment, yeah.
So we just have to think of one more. I'm thinking we do 3, so it can be a best of 3.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we don't want call it a best of 3, because then if I whoop your ass in the first 2, then why do the third?
Okay, well let's put the pause real quick. Okay, you probably have me beat at baseball, at wiffle ball. Okay, but I can shoot.
Sure, but
I can hardly skate.
Let's also talk about the fact that we're talking about ice hockey,
Yes.
which you haven't been playing with the Geese.
Right.
And, well, you know what? Maybe we'll make it fair. We'll make it a little more fair. Maybe we won't do ice hockey. Maybe we'll do roller.
Roller.
Tracy has a little park with a roller rink in the park. So we'll think about it. Well, I don't want to like tilt the table too far towards your direction.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not here to like make concessions for people who aren't as.
If it's not timed, if I can just like kind of push myself, and just let myself glide a little bit, I can do it.
Yeah,
I can do this challenge.
Okay, well we'll get there. But then what about a third? We need a third.
What about golf?
That go to do a chip and putt competition.
Chip and putt,
at the range.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could go to a driving range around here and do a chip and putt competition.
I think that'd be cool.
Because we really can't do drives because we can't really get the exact distance. You know what I mean, at the driving range, unless somebody wants to put on like a fucking a Michelin Man costume and go out there, put a fucking tie Arrested Development, tie a mattress to their back. Go out there Homer Simpson style. No, but that's a good idea. A chip putt. There's also mini golf.
Bowling.
I was thinking something that neither of us have probably ever done that I've always wanted to attempt.
What?
Field goals.
Oh. That's interesting.
Because I live right by a high school.
Yes,
so
you do.
We could try to hit some
I like
field
that.
goals.
Okay. Yeah.
But then we'd have to do some practice runs because I don't want to get out there and have a couple cameras going
and then
I can't even make one.
I think that's what's gonna make it fun though.
Yeah, but then the competition, then it's just well, we're losers. You know what I mean? So then it's just who got farther. Yeah, that's potential funniness there. Yeah, we'd have to morph it from none of us can actually get it through the upright, so now we're just gonna see who can kick it further.
Are you sure that's 40 yards? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's we'd have to go and practice run to see how close we'd have to be for either one of us to make it, and then that would have to be the starting point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that could be, but yeah, keep subscribing. The subscriber numbers are almost double what they were when Joey and I started on this thing, so that's a good thing. Not to say that we have everything to do with it, but I'd like to say we have something.
Thank
to
you
do
for the
with
support, you guys. It's
but
it's
yeah, so 100 subscriber challenge is going down. Oh yeah, the boys at the lead off, the brothers, the bros, the suits. They are gonna be getting in on this 100 subscriber challenge. They're going to be putting together, I believe, I hope I'm not breaking news for them right now, but I got this in a text thread, so I don't know if they've said it or not. They're going to be doing a raffle. They're going to be putting together a swag bag with some Peak One merch and
that's really
stickers
cool. Yeah,
and shirts
nice
and stuff like that. So we hit that from the lead off. You can go over there. I don't know how they're going to enter people in, if you need to leave a comment, if you need to do something to get yourself entered into the raffle. So tune into the lead off to see how you get involved in their 100 subscriber
really cool,
challenge.
man.
So yeah, we're going. Peak One's rolling.
Peak One Sports.
All right, let's get into some real serious sports now.
Okay.
Loosey-goosey update. For those of you who are just tuning in, Loosey-goosey is the name of, and even though Joey's not playing right now, Joey will always be a member of this team.
I was a founding member.
He's a
of
founding
the team.
member of the Loosey.
It was actually
Goose.
my team before the Geese came.
Yeah, and we had to come in and make it a better team. But Loosey-goosey, we got out there. We talked last week a lot about how I wanted to win this game, keep the winning streak, not just keep the winning streak going, but this was the only team in the league we haven't beat yet.
Right.
And we lost. We lost a 4-2, really hotly contested game. I'm going to say hotly contested, even though the final score is 4-2. That doesn't tell the whole story.
No.
It was hotly contested the whole time, and the thing that made it a little more impressive is that it was a 1-goal game going into final minutes of the third period.
Oh, and then they just hammered.
And we had
one.
6 penalties throughout the game. So we were on the penalty kill, and because I'm not sure why they do it, but it's 3-minute penalties in this league.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I have
like no matter what.
Yeah, everything's instead of 2 minutes, everything's a 3-minute, right?
Yeah.
So, we had 18 minutes of fucking penalties.
Yeah,
in this game.
That's pretty wild.
Not that I'm like the offensive juggernaut on the team, but I literally think I only played one shift that wasn't on the penalty kill.
Wow.
Right? So it was like we were just killing penalties the whole time. So to keep it within one for basically 18, the whole game with 18 minutes on the penalty
only
kill.
4. Yeah,
I was pretty impressed with ourselves, but more to the point. And those last 2 goals that put them up 4-2. They were kind of like garbage time. And you ask, like, what's garbage time in hockey? Well, it's not empty net. Garbage time is when you're within 1, you're within 2, and you don't pull your goalie, but you're just all on offensive pressure. You know what I mean? We were just trying to bury one, and then lost a turnover, and then they had an on-man rush and then score, at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of garbage time in hockey. It can be an empty netter. It can be a moment where you're just only focus on offense because the game's almost over and you're just, everybody's crashing the net and nobody's holding the point, and they go out and get an easy one. But yeah, so the penalties were bullshit. All right. Yeah, there was some deserving.
They always say that.
There was some deserving penalties. I'm not going to lie. I've never been one to like argue penalties that hard, especially when I felt my stick hit somebody in the face. Like, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, fucking do that," but there was 2 penalties in particular. And when you're in the dirt league, Joey knows this, and anybody who's played like low-level adult sports, there's always some guys on the team that are like real low-level, you know what I mean? And they're just out there, and especially in hockey, I'm sure it goes across the board in all sports, but in hockey, not only do you have to learn how to play a sport, but as I always say, you also then have to do it on razor blades on a block of ice, right? So it adds a complete other level of difficulty to it because you have to be able to stand up to play the game.
Oh, and even if you sit down, you're still sliding.
Right. It's just it adds another level of difficulty, right? So there's a lot of incidental contact, a lot of people running into each other without it being like a check. Oh, you checked him. It's like, no, we fucking couldn't stop. You know what I mean? Right. So we had one penalty that was called interference that literally our guy, it ended up looking like he literally, like legitimately soccer slid tackled the guy. But it was because he just lost his edge and he was leaning too far back and his skates flew out front. And it looked like he dove into a slide tackle and just went right into the guy's feet and, took him down. And they called him for interference. Wow. Right? Yeah. And it's like, God damn it, I guess technically, but I mean, what are we doing here? And then another play in one of the circles off to the side of the net, we had another like collision. Mm-hmm. Our guy ended up, another one of our guys who is not a strong skater, does not have, like, it's one of those moments where you're like, are you calling the penalty because it was a penalty? Or are you actually paying attention to, like, do you think that guy could do anything intentionally? Right. And it's like, but collision, our guy ends up on top, the bottom guy gets a little shooken up, he was down for a minute and da-da-da-da-da, and then our guy gets a penalty for interference. Right. And it's just like, and the ref was just like, I felt sorry for the guy. I'm like, yeah, that's not the game. You felt sorry because he got a little hurt. Like, that's not a penalty.
That's not a penalty, yeah.
And then there was a couple moments where one of our guys got hooked so bad that the dude lost his stick in his armpit and the ref didn't call it. It was a straight hooking penalty we could have got, or got a power play on. Mm-hmm. Some dude freaking kind of cross-check Clay head first into the boards. It could have been a lot of different things. I digress. Okay? It's fine.
This sounds a lot more physical.
It was
than roller hockey,
and it is, but again, because tempers get a little higher because people do run into each other by accident, but if you're the guy who gets ran into, you
upset.
don't know if it was by accident or not. And there was like a moment where Clay and a dude got tangled up in front of the net, and Clay took the guy down because Clay's not a small guy.
No.
And then the guy gets up and gets all in his face, and he's just like, "I remember you from last game," and Clay's like, "I was at work at the last game." Idiot. Like stuff like that. Like,
it's that CrossFit
me
rage.
and Clay look a lot alike, so he's probably talking about me.
You.
But yeah, so anyways, Lucy Goosey hung in there with 6 penalties, but most impressively, it's Connor Johnson, our goaltender, and we're going to hear from her right now.
Hey, this is Cole with the Bungalow Sports Show pregame interview. Here with Connor. What's your number?
63.
What's your position?
Goalie.
She's our goalie. What do you plan on doing today?
Someone up.
Yeah. All right, we'll catch up with you after the game. See how you did. This is Cole with post-game report. Connor, unfortunately, we lost 4-2 tonight.
Yes, we did.
There's a lot of bullshit penalties. Overall, how do you feel? How do you feel as a team?
I felt we played well, except for the penalties.
Right, yeah. There's a lot. We did. That was a lot of penalties, but you know what? We're gonna probably play this team in the championship if we keep up our winning ways after today.
Yeah.
And thank you for this.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to some sports news.
I'm so happy we're following up with this.
I know, we have to follow up.
up.
Glenn Kuiper, this was on our very first Joey episode of the show. Joey, this was one of his headlines. This is Glenn Kuiper dropping a hard R N-bomb.
Hard R.
On a live Oakland A's broadcast.
With no remorse during it.
Yeah, just breezed right
off the tongue.
And he's been fired by NBC Sports or whatever does the broadcast. And we were laughing when we were not that it's funny, but we were laughing when we were talking about this on a few episodes ago about how they said like he's been suspended pending an investigation.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what's to investigate? Like it's right there, you know what I mean? Everybody saw it. But then it's always funny when the people do get fired after the investigation concludes, and they made sure to put in the article the incident in question and some other things that were found during the investigation have led to his termination. And I'm just like, what?
I wonder if they just subpoenaed like emails and text messages. Like they just got everything from this guy.
No, I don't think so. But it's also like, I think they throw that in there to be like, we didn't just fire him just for this one thing. You know what I mean?
There's a history. There's a pattern here.
But then from Kuiper's side, it's like, what else was it? Like, you can't just say that and then not say. It's like, especially if you're making it up, then it makes him seem like a real animal.
Can you imagine he's just like in the Suits' office, and he's just like, all right, listen, they're just sitting there drinking whiskey, and he's like, listen, we got to let you go.
Yeah, we can let the N-bomb go, but we uncovered some other things during our investigation. It's just a picture of him on Epstein's island with the island boys.
Yeah, right. If you could have just kept that N-bomb under wraps, man, we would have been fine.
Glenn,
but you that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
You made us open an investigation, Glenn, and we're sorry. But he's been the voice of the Oakland A's for a long time,
man.
But hey, everything comes to an end, Glenn. You can't be dropping those N-bombs on television.
Down with the patriarchy.
Yeah, you can't be dropping those N-bombs anywhere, dude. They're listening. They're listening on our phones right now. You know what I mean? Like, we're recording this for people to listen and watch. So, it's behoove us not to drop N-bombs. But, even if these cameras were off, these phones are still listening to us.
They're still listening to you.
No.
All of a sudden, like, in your shopping center, it's just like the rebel flag.
All right. Going back to another familiar topic to this show, which is fighting in sports by the fans and fighting in sports that doesn't belong in those sports. Yet again, the New York Yankees fans are the worst, all right? Because not only are they bringing fighting into baseball where it shouldn't be, but they're fighting each other on the streets after a Yankee game. And, we come from California, right? So we are the home of Oakland and Los Angeles, the two places where even in victory.
San Francisco too, right?
But yes, but it's never happened in San Francisco. I'm talking about even in victory, historically in Oakland and Los Angeles, the cities are ablaze. Right? Yeah. Like we turn, even in victory, we turn anger. We go out and flip our own cop cars and,
right.
and light shit on fire, even in victory, right? So I'm not against, sports riots per se, or I'm not going anti-sports fight. I'm going save it for the other team's fans.
Right.
All right. Why you got to go out and fight each other, Yankees fans? You do need another. I bet you know what? Fight each other, Yankees fans. Nobody likes you guys. You guys are the worst. Like, I'm not even a big I used to be a big baseball guy when I was a kid, but
right.
and I was an A's fan, so obviously I really dislike the Yankees. And most of the Yankees are like, the Patriots. They're like any team that is like had a long dynasty of winning and championships.
That's right.
It's been a while for the Yankees, obviously, for a championship, but they're always in the mix. They're always a successful team. So they got the owner that just writes checks and buys their roster, you know what I mean? Because baseball and their spending problems. I
remember that was a big thing in school. Was like they're like the Yankees are a hand-picked team, man.
Yeah, but that's the thing that a baseball allows is because without a salary cap, it's just how much money does your owner have, and then that's when you get into an issue like the A's where they go for a long time with the whole Moneyball theory. Let's
buy bases, right?
Let's be a discount team and still be successful. But then you get an owner that doesn't actually have the money. That's just a business person that's not gonna go spend money just to get players. They're trying to make money on this team.
Right. When,
George Steinbrenner or whoever the owner of the Yankees is now, it's like throughout history, it was just an open checkbook of who is available, who can we get, and how much money do we have to give them, bring them here.
Play. Sorry.
And they did that with a few A's players over the years, which makes them even more hated in my eyes. But, yeah, just go out there and beat each other's asses, Yankee fans. Just beat each other till there's nobody left in the stands.
Like a supernova, they will implode on themselves.
Like the four people, we got the shirtless guy in this picture right here. All of these people that are involved, I'd like to see. Those are the same. Looks like we've got about 4 people involved here. Let's go all 4 of those people versus Aaron Judge in a street fight. Like a 7-foot giant dude just punching these fucking mongoloids on the street. Yeah, fucking Yankees fans, dude. It never gets old. But once again, fighting where it doesn't belong in sports, okay? Fighting only belongs in fighting sports and hockey.
Are you sure, though? You don't think they should get it out of their system,
What do you mean?
I mean, you got the bench brawl, or where they come out of the dugouts and stuff, and they sit there and they fight.
Yeah,
each
but
other.
you're doing that because your sport is like super boring. Everybody in the dugout's bored out of their fucking mind.
Right.
Sitting there wearing their rally hats and sunflower seeds and chew and fucking. They're just looking for something.
So that's what they just have an overabundance of salt.
Time.
And it makes them more. Oh, time.
Time. Idle hands, right? Idle hands are the devil's playground, people. In baseball, for half the people involved in the game is at any given moment is idle hands. You're sitting there waiting for something to do. And even when your team's up to bat, you're sitting in the dugout waiting for your turn. You're out on the field. You're in right field waiting for something to happen. 90% of the time, you're not going to be involved in anything that happens in the game. So you're just waiting. So given the opportunity to run out and beat up a pitcher, of course they're going to take it. You know what I mean? But that just means that they'd rather be in a sport where they're fighting.
Right.
So go be hockey players. We just lost all the baseball fans. But you don't come to this show to hear about baseball. I think that might be the first time we've talked about baseball on this show.
Yeah.
It's just about the Yankee fans beating each other up. All right. Next up, we're not in the hockey segment yet, but this is a little side hockey news, is teams that are
cities
cities that are I'm sure there's more cities than these, but these are the ones that are edging hard to try to get the relocation of the Arizona Coyotes. The top runners: Salt Lake City, Houston, Atlanta, Sacramento.
Can you imagine if Sacramento gets A hockey team?
I can't imagine because that is my NHL franchise.
Oh,
is in
is the
Sacramento. Yeah, I went from my Madden franchise, the Sacramento Condors, and also created a hockey team, the Sacramento Condors.
Oh, wow.
And matched the colors up purple, just like the Kings. You know what I mean? Because I like it
Beautiful.
when cities teams match colors. It's why I
Sure.
like Pittsburgh. You got gold and black across the board. You got the Pirates. You got the Steelers. That's all.
The
they got.
Pirates.
Oh, and the Penguins.
You already said that, didn't you?
I said Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, all gold and black. You know, I like that. I like that. So we got the Sacramento Kings. If we bring the Coyotes over, do you think they keep the Coyote name wherever they go?
I think so.
I think a couple.
What would they call it? Sacramento what? It's not going to be the Condors, so it's like...
I already chose the name, Joey. No, I mean, I guess it... I mean, the Coyotes wouldn't really work in Atlanta.
The
Do
Sacramento
they have
Coyotes.
I don't know. I think they'd have to change it unless it's another Southwest team. You know what I mean? Because the Coyote, even though like we have Coyotes around here, but they're little disease-ridden.
What do they call themselves? The Sacramento, the city of trees, don't they? What about the Sacramento Live Oaks or some stupid...
Live Oaks? The Sacramento Live Edge dining room tables.
yeah, farm to table, baby.
Sacramento hipsters, dude.
It's just a man bun and some glasses.
The Sacramento Farm to Forks.
Yeah, dude. That's it. We got it.
Sacramento.
Cough up that pocketbook, baby.
Sacramento vegan cheeses. I don't know. But I don't know what. Obviously, we're biased, right? But I don't know. Is that too close to San Jose? Is it? I guess not because you got Anaheim and LA. But then is that too many West Coast teams now that we have the Kraken? We've got Calgary, Vancouver, the Kraken, San Jose, LA, Anaheim.
I'd like to see him go back to Atlanta. You know, I think, after the Thrashers, I think they need...
Do you think? I don't think they should get another chance.
Why not?
I think the only cities that should get another chance if they lost a franchise are Canadian cities. So I'm thinking Quebec. If they go back to Quebec.
No, I don't want to give Canada anything. I think they've taken enough.
You know what? You're right.
Right.
America. So let's talk about... I mean, do we need another Texas team? We got the Stars. No, we don't know.
Not.
So Houston, you're
Absolutely
out. I'm
not.
sorry.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City's wouldn't be a bad hockey place. You know,
I can
there's
get down
snow
with Utah.
there.
I can get down with
There's
Utah.
snow there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't piss anybody
But
off.
there's a huge... Oh, did we bring that up?
What?
A huge Mormon population.
What does that have to do with Mormons don't like hockey? What do you mean?
I don't know, I'm just...
Well, you heard it here first. Mormons hate hockey. But I mean, bias-wise, obviously, I'd love a Sacramento team. But the problem with that is it would really tear at my heartstrings because of the recent just debacle that the Sharks have turned into.
You would change
I don't
teams?
know, Joey. That's what I'm saying. It would cause a real dilemma in my life.
Okay.
Because they're closer in distance.
They are closer. I was just about to say that. They're closer
Right?
in distance.
They're closer in distance, which is real big to
I
me.
kind of like the colors.
If they go purple,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
are you kidding me? Andy's favorite color's purple, so he definitely
He
would
would
be
be- he
switching
would be-
teams immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
That would
That's
be
rough.
I mean, I love the idea, like, because every time I play a franchise mode on any sports game, I always end up in Sacramento because I'm like, all we got is the Kings, dude.
Are you just a sack baby? Is that what it is?
Well, I'm just proximity, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a team that's closest to you, that should be your fucking team, unless you moved here from somewhere else, right?
They don't have like Modesto or a Stockton.
I went to the Modesto Nuts game, dude, this weekend.
What did you think about that?
Don't make me insult the fans of a certain sport, all right? We left a 7th inning stretch. We left as the last call for booze was going on, and the score was 0-0.
You know what's so harsh about that field is that you're right in the sun for like the majority,
of the game.
It's
Yeah,
so bad.
It is pretty brutal, but
It's so bad.
it was like some kind of Mexican heritage night, so they had a alternate logo. It was pretty
Okay.
cool. It was like a Mexican like folk art like celebration, so it was like this weird eagle with like moose horns, like this weird thing that was all colorful and stuff. So
I would say I enjoyed the Nuts game more than I ever enjoyed a Ports game.
Yeah,
the Ports game started and I didn't even know it
the
started.
Nuts, they're not a bad team.
They're not,
but again, my temperament is just not that of a baseball fan anymore.
Right.
I need action.
You need
dude.
to go. Right.
I'm about that action, bud.
Yeah. Now, if somebody took that baseball bat and smacked the pitcher upside the head, we're cooking. Right.
Yeah, we're cooking with gas then, baby.
Right. Then it's just
a bunch
all
of
out.
Yankee fans show up, start fighting in the parking lot.
So we're pulling for Sacramento then.
I guess, dude, it's gonna cause a real rift in my life.
Yeah. I can't get behind. I mean, I would be okay with Atlanta.
Would you switch up if from the Sharks to the Sac, whatever?
If they kept going on their current trajectory, like you're saying, dude, I'm like,
yeah,
it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. You want to stick by your team,
and I'll stick by
like,
them until the end if another team doesn't come closer.
Well, it's like you just keep blaming the wrong people, dude. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We got some players that don't need to be there anymore, and they keep trying to keep them.
Okay, we're not here to talk about that.
No, we're talking about it, dude.
We're not here to talk about the
hockey
failure of the
segment. And
Sharks.
damn it,
I'm just saying that if the San Jose Sharks and the Sacramento whatevers had showed up at the same time, I'd have been a Sacramento fan probably.
How about this? If they go to Sacramento on their first game against each other, whoever wins decides what team we support.
I like that.
Right? Because then we put the ball in their court.
like
If the
that.
Sharks need us,
I like that.
Like
I'm
if the
gonna
Sharks
fax that
want
in.
us,
Yeah.
they gotta prove it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to prove your medal, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's the deal.
I like that.
That's what we're going. All right. NBA playoff update.
Sweep.
I mean, the Sweep Daddies came through. The Denver must have listened to our show last week and Denver Nuggets decided that they were on board with us Sweep Daddies.
Big old push brooms, baby. Just
And then the Florida. Oh no, we're not to hockey yet. But
Miami.
But Boston, just really anti-Sweep Daddy.
Yep.
And as much as I already dislike Boston sports,
They're going to Game 7, right?
it's going to Game 7
Yep.
Monday night or
Wow.
tonight if you're watching this. Yeah, it was a pretty exciting game. I turned Joey and I. We're not huge basketball heads, but we know ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we know ball.
I could ball up.
We know ball. We ball up. And after the Dallas game, the Dallas Vegas game, I switched over and watched the last 8 minutes of that, which is an incredible 8 minutes of basketball. It was insane. The game ended insanely. 3 seconds left. Boston down by 1. They inbound the ball, take a three, the ball bounce, in and out, bounce out of the net, and dude just grabs that rebound right out of the air and lays it right back in. It leaves his fingers right as the clock hits double zeros.
Beautiful.
It was crazy. It was one of those moments
Picture
where
perfect, right?
You in live time, it was so fast, it was so bang bang, like you didn't think it counted.
Right.
You're like, oh, the game's over, and everybody kind of just stopped. Nobody cheered. Like, it was just like okay, like, obviously the dude who put it in knew it because the light's right there, so you see it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody had to wait for that replay before they, everybody started celebrating. But it was super intense, and that one's going to a Game 7. And I gotta say, Boston, I think, has the upper hand now. The momentum is obviously in their favor, going 3 straight. So that's ball talk. Moving on to the NHL, the most important sport of all the sports. Dallas, Vegas, heading to Game 6.
An incredible game.
The Stars, Jason Robertson finally came out of his playoff slump, and he's got 6 goals or 5 goals in this series alone.
A lot of young cats too that are scoring in these last couple games.
Oh yeah, no, and it's just Glendening with that freaking tip. Like, I've been thinking in my head this whole time, the whole playoffs, even since before we started doing the show, is that, like, with the lineup that Dallas has, and Ottinger just kind of playing above his level almost, and then Pavelski obviously is always solid. It was going to be Jason Robertson. It's like, can he was in a slump, and he wasn't putting up points these whole playoffs. You know what I mean? So I feel like if he had been playing at the level that he's playing right now, we wouldn't be in this scenario. They'd already beat Vegas.
Right, but do you think losing Jamie Benn for these past 2 games has really lit something under him?
I think it had to have, right? Because
Yeah.
it's obviously your captain, obviously a big piece of skill on the ice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A big.
And they did, and they were right. They said that they didn't want him to. They didn't want that to be his last.
If you're wondering what
move
we're
in the
talking about,
playoff.
we forgot that
Oh, yeah.
we do this once a week. You know what I mean? And a lot of things happen. Jamie Benn, captain of the Dallas Stars, like
Took a-
30 seconds into game,
Like took a
3
stupid penalty, dude. Like
yeah,
wild.
just cross-check the guy, or cross-check
Mark Stone, the other captain.
the other captain, checks him to the ice, and then basically ground and pounds him with his stick,
just
right
into,
in
like,
the neck, right into the
was
little,
horrifying,
right
dude.
into the neck. You
It was
know, just
horrifying.
ka-ka, you
Yeah.
know, and it was bad. It was one of those moments where it's like, Jesus, like.
Well, and I know how trashy he is, but I'm such a big Jamie Benn fan that when I see something like that,
But
it
he's
broke my
not-
heart, man.
He's not that type of player. He's but no, like that was another level.
You're right. But
Okay,
that's what
there's guys in this league over the history, and now he has officially, hockey's
that's-
a sport where there's a team will consider something a cheap shot, but then the team that did
it's
the
like
cheap
that's what
shot,
you expect out of that person,
or
right.
just it's hockey. You fucking
like
check.
if you were to say that this was Marchand that did this, right?
Right.
You would be like, okay, that's
Yeah, duh.
believable.
Right.
But because it was Jamie Benn, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, dude. And it's,
Right.
I mean, he's a captain.
If Jacob
you know what I mean?
Trouba did this, then you'd be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But Jamie Benn,
Or if a Kachuk brother did this.
right? He's a hard nosed hockey player, but he
Yeah.
doesn't do this type. This
No.
is over and above. Like just the hit
Yes.
that laid him to the ground. That could have been debatable as like, what the fuck? That was
Yeah,
Vegas
more
would have
than
been
enough.
crying about that alone.
Mm.
But the rest of the hockey world, and it would have been like, whatever, it's hockey.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I
that
mean?
was a rough one,
Is
man.
that stick to the neck, obvious intent to injure.
He tried to make it petted off too, where he was like, "Oh, I fell down and I didn't mean to do it." It's like, no, dude, we saw you.
Well,
fully extend his arms.
Right.
like,
and it was kind of like last episode we were talking about the suspensions and the slashing suspension. You know what I mean? And it's like we talked about the intent to injure versus
Yeah,
the
for
hockey
sure.
move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this even takes that to another.
Oh, yeah,
level,
yeah.
right?
Slashing
'Cause
somebody's hands-
somebody's wrist versus slashing their
Sorry.
neck is totally different,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, in the league, we've had guys swing their sticks at people's head like baseball bats. We've had
Yeah.
lots of different stuff. But the proximity, the closeness, the just power he put into that,
Yeah,
like,
it was
he coulda-
horrifying, man.
He
It was
could have jacked
horrifying.
him up. But they get him back in Game 6. They get Jamie Benn back in Game 6, and I think it's going to have a big impact. They're already got the momentum kind of swinging in their way.
Right.
That
and they're
game,
heading back into Dallas, which is good.
the game last night ended up 4-2.
With 2 beautifully scored goals.
But Dallas was in control of the whole game. It seemed like to me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, for sure.
Vegas obviously buried a couple, but it was a Dallas game last night. And if they have that plus Jamie Benn, I think they win Game 6. And then you know what they say about Game 7s, man. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. So we could have 2 series that split, 2 sweeps, and then 2
Game 7s.
3
Wow.
game down.
Yeah.
Come back to Game 7s, like the 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. in
Wow.
playoffs.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that would be pretty cool. So that leads us to our next. Florida sweeps Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals.
in a total just upset. man. Crazy.
And that team, and that's the thing. I think that team beats whoever comes out of the West. I think that's just what's going to happen. Florida. I mean the combo of Matthew Tkachuk and Sergei Bobrovsky. The way I don't think Bobrovsky's won a Vezina, and I don't think he's ever played this well before. Right?
Yeah.
Bobrovsky has been given the award for best goalie in the NHL in years past, and this is his best performance. This stretch in these playoffs has been his best performance. I mean, the guy. It seems like when a Stanley Cup winner, if you go back and kind of analyze all the teams that have won a cup, it's always, 1 or 2 guys, 1 or 2 skaters that just perform out of their minds. You usually have a young guy who has a breakout playoff. You know what I mean? There's like a few factors.
Right.
But I think one factor that's always there is they have a goalie. It doesn't matter if they're a superstar goalie or a younger Oh, Andy. I was like, what is that? It seems like a goalie you got to have a goalie that's just standing on their head.
Right.
They're just having a moment. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's a young guy that you aren't expecting it. Sometimes it's a veteran like Bobrovsky that's been the best and, hasn't fallen off, obviously, but like has just become a serviceable goalie. And then now he's just
now with the
he's possessed
added
right now.
Position of power that his team's
I mean,
in. It's
the
just,
streak, and it sucks because it almost sucks that they have such a long layoff until the finals start.
Yeah. Well, no, Kachuk was saying that he actually and he's enjoying it right now.
Right.
He was with the NBA TNT, and he was telling him he was very excited to have like this time off because
right.
They get all that rest and relaxation. I mean, other than that, they're doing every other day a game.
Sure. Well, I just mean like with goalies specifically. They're so streaky.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it is such a... I mean, they're the weirdest athletes.
I guess that's true. You want to carry that momentum, right? You don't want to lose it.
For those of you who don't follow hockey or aren't, like, aware of, like, the athletes and things like that, like, goalies, NHL goalies are the weirdest human beings on the planet, possibly.
Yeah.
But when you think about what they're doing... Like, yeah, they're on a team, but they're completely isolated.
Mm-hmm.
They are blamed for even though they got 2 defensemen in front of them and 3 forwards in front of that are all supposed to help him out.
Right.
They get blamed if the puck goes in the fucking net.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and as a player, we played long enough that we never blame our goalie.
Mm-mm.
Like, yeah, there's some times where like, that was a little soft. They could have saved that one, but it's like. Yeah, but I also shouldn't have let that person get the fucking shot off in the first place.
I think that's one thing I love about hockey players over anything else is that if they lose...
Accountability.
It's always my fault, right?
Right.
Guys, I'm sorry, I didn't perform. But if we do something good, even if you are the one who did it, we did it.
Right.
And that's something that I've always loved about hockey.
It is something you can't... We've talked about it before with like Connor McDavid and things like that. It's like the best player in history can't win a championship.
Right.
Like you've got to have a team...
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same thing about like the years like the Sharks when they were super successful and Joe Thornton was their quarterback. The biggest thing was Joe Thornton never fucking shoots it, and it's just like but he's trying to set everything up.
He does everything.
But then all the teams start to realize that that's what you're going to do. So then they're just going to double team Joe Thornton because they know he's going to hang on the puck forever, trying to figure out what to set.
Right.
So it becomes a detriment to have one guy that's kind of
doing everything,
leading the whole thing, and yeah, and so goaltenders are just isolated weirdos. They are very superstitious. Like you have no idea. Like whether don't touch their fucking helmet.
Right.
Don't touch. You know what I mean? Like you just all kinds of weird shit. They hit the fucking posts the same way every time they get out there. They're just weird, superstitious. So like these long breaks.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for the whole team. The guys that are out there getting their bodies racked every other day, I'm sure they could use a break, but Bobrovsky probably wants to get right back in there and keep in this focus that he has going on. But
yeah, because that's true, man. One day you could wake up and kind of breathe a sigh of relief, and then next thing you know, it's you're not playing the same game.
We got one more reason why hockey is the best, and that is this quote from Paul Maurice, the coach of the Florida Panthers. And tell me if any other sport, a coach may think this, but in the media, they would never project it such as this. When talking about Matthew Tkachuk, he used to do this to us in Winnipeg. Pain in the ass. That bastard would score the same way. 2 minutes left on the clock. After agitating the entire bench, he's gifted. Gifted, man. And it's like, what other sport would a coach refer to their best player as a pain in the ass and a bastard?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just,
but those are positives in hockey. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing when but that shows you the relationship,
different mindset, right?
That Paul Maurice has with that team. You know what I mean? And that's just why they're winning right now. Is like, go out there and be a bastard. Go out there and be a pain in the ass. Go out there and chirp it up. Go out there and, just because you're up 3-0 doesn't mean that they look at Dallas. You know what I mean? They're on a run. It's like, fuck that. Go out there and put your foot on their neck. Not for real, Jamie Benn. But anyways, reason number 10,000 why hockey's the best. Here's a stat. I got a couple little stats before we're going to throw this to the Tony Nix interview. We've got Peak One Sports suit Tony Nix.
Exclusive interview.
Exclusive interview. Couple little more hockey stats I wanted to go through. So check this one out right here. This is all about, we're talking about Florida still and how they're complete underdogs and how this is a complete
100%.
craziness. They would have missed the playoffs if the Pittsburgh Penguins would have beat the 31st place Columbus Blue Jackets or the 30th place Chicago Blackhawks in their last 2 games. If Pittsburgh would have beat one of those fucking teams, the Panthers would not have made the playoffs. And Pittsburgh would have taken that spot.
That is insane.
Right? And you're talking about a team with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A historically
Chris Letang.
fantastic team.
And all they had to do was beat 2 of the 3 worst teams in the league this year. They had to beat one of them one time to close out the season. And the Panthers wouldn't even be there. And now they're going to the Cup.
How about that?
Hockey. Hockey, bro. It's beautiful. All right, time to get to my last. This is my rant of the day. I was all over Rod Brindamore. Rod the bod. He's got that gray tuft. He's got that chin. He's got that jawline.
He's got that broken nose.
I was all... He's got that beauty of a nose. I'm off the Rod train because his press conference after the game. We did not get swept. Where's my other one? I got another one right here. We didn't lose 4 games. We got beat, but we were right there. Yeah, you did. You lost 4 games. And in a sport like hockey where most games are 1-goal fucking games,
yeah,
it doesn't matter if you were right there.
Yeah.
You lost. I hate this. I hate that attitude, man, because again, hockey is all about accountability. Somebody scores on your goaltender, it's your fucking fault for letting them shoot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
What we were just talking about. Your guy goes out there and gets slashed. You go out there and take that dude's head into the fucking boards. You know what I mean? Like, hockey is all about accountability and making other people take accountability for what they did to your play. You know, whatever.
Right.
So this kind of bullshit here,
It's why we
didn't get swept.
It's why they're not going to win.
That's exactly what happened. You got swept. Wow. You know what I mean? And the last game, he put it in with seconds left on the clock.
He could have done that cliche thing too, where he's like, "We didn't lose; it was a learning experience." But no, he's just saying we didn't lose.
No, he said we didn't.
Right
we
there,
didn't get
man.
swept. We didn't get swept.
Doesn't matter if it's by an inch or by a mile.
You lost. That's what sports are. That's what's great about sports. So, yes, you lost, Rod. I don't care how good your bod is. That's the worst kind of attitude. I'm off the Rod train. Carolina, never going to win. Poor Brett Burns. You know, my dad was talking about poor Pavelski this weekend.
Poor Pavelski?
Like, because, you know, they were about to get swept.
Oh,
just like, oh, yeah, because we were talking about how many, he's the points leader in the playoffs now and, like, in active players. Like, he's got all these crazy stats and he's never gonna lift a cup or whatever and all this stuff. And I looked at it and I go, poor Pavelski. I was like, poor Brett Burns.
Poor Brent Burns. They got Stefan Neeson, a bunch of people.
Well, no, just if you're talking about Sharks with fantastic careers and fantastic stat lines that leave the Sharks at the end of their career to hopefully finally get a cup. You know what I mean? A la Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton, and everything. Think about Joe Thornton being on the Panthers last year. What if he was on the Panthers this year?
Yeah.
God damn.
That would have been a hard man.
But, poor Brett Burns. That team's going nowhere with Rod Brindamore as a coach. That fucking loser.
Not with that mindset, dude.
We didn't get swept.
No, you most definitely did. You hear that? Sweep daddies.
Radko Gudis's beard, dude. Swept you right off there.
Yeah, he did.
And coming from the sweep daddies right here, we don't like that talk.
No, we don't like that talk,
you
buddy.
You got swept,
Accountability.
Bro. Accountability. All right. We're going to throw to me and Tony Nix. Well, mostly me, because you know me. I talk over everyone, and we were having a little bit of internet trouble, so that enabled me to talk a lot more because he wasn't even hearing me, and it was just there's some editing involved. You probably won't realize the editing because I'm an editing master, but Tony Nix. This coming Friday, he's got a brand new show coming out called Sports Biz.
Nice.
Where he's just going to talk about the ins and outs of the office side of the sports. You know what I mean? We're talking contracts, owners, relocation, all kinds of everything that goes into the
give you more
side.
Inside of the game. See what people are doing, what they're doing.
And, I like that too because these days with the internet and we get to actually see the ins and outs of the contracts for these players
Yeah.
and like different things, stuff we never used to get to
No,
hear
before you'd be
about.
like, why the fuck? Did
Right,
you
right.
know?
So he's just going to be getting into that. He's going to be getting into, all the different reasons. We talk in this interview a little bit about, like you said, like people get upset when players leave or contractors.
Yeah.
Like there's always reasoning behind madness, and like when it comes to like big money contracts, and then that becomes a detriment to your team because
Yeah.
now they don't have enough money to put pieces around that guy with that big contract. It happens
Absolutely.
in football all the time with quarterbacks and things like that, where you give this guy so much money you can't afford a decent receiver. And so
Yeah.
Sports Biz coming Friday. Here's me and Tony Nix. I'm here with Tony Nix. He is one of the co-hosts of the Lead Off. And I don't know what you're co-captain of the Peak One Sports team. I don't know how are we gonna. What is your official title?
I guess for lack of a better term, co-founder maybe.
There you go. I think that sounds more official. Co-founder.
We haven't really come up with titles for each other. Kind of we consider everybody that joins on as a contributor. So I'm a contributor / co-founder.
Yeah, no, it'll just all those titles will be important when like TMZ is reporting on us like in 10 years, and we've all had falling outs,
that's right.
and we're all suing each other and all that stuff. Then it'll be co-founder Tony Nix.
And they're following us going into restaurants. They're following us.
No, I mean I was happy. It was just kind of. I was telling your brother it was kind of almost like it was meant to be, because I hadn't done one of my shows in a while, and I was thinking about I just wanted to do something topical, you know what I mean, rather than just a random conversational show, because it's like just hard to get people in here sometimes. So like topical stuff is easy because if you can make yourself a rundown, you can stay on topic and you can do it easier alone and all that. And I was thinking about doing it for myself, and then randomly your brother messaged me and was like, "Are you still doing a show?" And I'm like, can I do one for you? Because I had been following your guys' stuff, and I was like, well, shit, it kind of works out. So it all kind of came together at the right time.
At that time when he reached out to you, we had some actually ideas of others, and none of the people that we thought we were kind of planning on maybe bringing in, we still haven't brought any of them in yet.
Right.
So
well,
it kind of just, by chance we had all these other people fall into it,
Well, it's just like when you're trying to think of, this is kind of a weird endeavor for most people when like as a hobby or whatever. It's like, what do you mean you're creating some kind of a network, like shows, like cameras, microphone, all this stuff? It's kind of weird for, like, I've been doing this kind of stuff since I was a kid. It's always been my favorite thing to do. And then when I became an adult and like could buy all my own stuff, like used to do like internet radio shows and stuff like that. I just like the medium of talking and conversation and stuff. And I'm glad you guys are diving into it, like, because it's one of those things where it's super fun, but like the even funner part is when you can expand and actually get a following and get people commenting on the videos, and you're like, holy crap, people actually care about this, like.
Yeah, there are actually people watching us, right?
Right, and,
not just our mom and dad and our wife.
And like I always had done just straight audio podcast forever, and like it's so much harder to get like feedback from people or interaction when it's just audio. Like having it be on YouTube and there's a comment section right there. They're already watching it. They don't just have because I'm a podcast listener. I don't have my phone in my hand when I'm listening to a podcast. I'm just listening to the audio in my headphones at work or whatever. And now I like the YouTube thing because people are right there. They can engage, and it's like, once you get past a certain number of people, then the thing just starts growing itself because once you get into the algorithm.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you've seen that since you've come on that. And we didn't plan for this to grow this fast.
Well,
you jumped on and things started to explode. I know you're helping to push it too. And
once you get like a collective of people, it's like, oh, okay, so it's like all the people who have been following me or like whatever over the years in my shows and stuff, obviously they're going to check it out at least once. And if they're sports fans, why wouldn't they check it out? You know what I mean? And then like, I'm not going to join up with a group of people who are a bunch of scrubs or people that are assholes or anything else. So, most likely they're going to like another show on the network too, just because, like-minded individuals kind of I like it because all the shows are a little bit low key. Like the thing that annoys me about sports talk is everybody's so over dramatic about everything. Cause it's like, deep down, it's like it's just sports. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This might as well be reality TV for us. Like it's entertainment, but there's a lot of aspects of it to follow. There's individual players, there's statistics, there's money, there's
you have your Stephen A's,
right, and
Skip Bayless's.
I like that. And then lately with like the Barstools and stuff like that, like comedy has been getting kind of shoehorned in, which is cool to kind of mix it up a little bit and not take it so seriously. But then all those things get kind of eaten up to where they almost become a little more clickbaity, like the bigger you get, and it just seems like that's the trajectory. So it's nice to kind of start. We're all kind of at a starting point together. Everybody's kind of feeling it out, and I'm grateful that you guys invited me or are having us on here. But I want to talk to you about. We can talk freely here because when this comes out, the announcement will already be made. But you have a new show coming out this week. As this comes out, it'll be this coming Friday, June 2nd. What is it? Tell us about it.
It's actually the Sports Biz, and that's going to be I'll be the lone host on that one. Kind of an endeavor that I've wanted to get into, kind of a spinoff of our last podcast, which was the Business and Beyond.
Right.
And now tying the sports, and I'm just like kind of that small business entrepreneur. I own my own business, and I've been involved in several businesses, for decades.
Right.
So just to kind of to put those together in this, and we're just going to talk behind the scenes of sports. We're going to talk, one of our first episode, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. The first episode is going to be, we're going to talk Bally Sports and that bankruptcy that they're going through.
Okay. Well, there you go. Right.
And we're just going to kind of get into the inner workings, but I want to keep it fun and fresh and
sure,
and not that boring business show,
I like the business side of sports, not because I'm like a business guy. I have my own business, but like I'm like from the other side of like I'm a glass guy, but it's just like I'm a construction worker who just didn't want a boss anymore. So the business, having to be a business guy is kind of just something I have to do to kind of just do the work. Versus like you guys that's why I like you guys come at it from the other perspective, where you're guys who are like business guys and the work is a byproduct of the business. You know what I mean? So, having that, that outlook on everything and taking it to sports is like, some people like that. You could be the biggest sports fan in the world, but you don't care about contracts. You don't care about any of that stuff. Right. But we're in an era of sports where like contracts are getting so big, salary caps aren't keeping up. So therefore you can ruin an entire team. One player can ruin a whole team just by taking too much money. Right. And there's
absolutely. And that I even go back like when I was 10 years old, and I'm playing Madden and I'm doing dynasty mode and franchise mode because I want to run the numbers. I want to see how I can build these true. I wouldn't even play the game. I would go through and simulate all the games.
Simulate it.
Just to see if I was
right
really building something the computer thought was good.
I was just playing my NHL dynasty right before we got on here. Like, so it's just I'm right there with you. So that's why I like it too, because it is. And there's a lot of people in the world that enjoy that side of it. Like, especially like soccer, like European soccer fans, because like they have a game. There's a game for them that's just called Manager, right? Where it's like that's all you do. You don't even play the game. You just do the numbers and just do the X's and O's and stuff. And like I said, especially in like the NFL, like your quarterback, the amount of money that they're willing to take drastically affects the amount of pieces you're able to put around them. And we've seen that crumble a few teams, And so I just think it's a cool thing to have because the sports landscape right now is full of stories about the business side of it, whether it's relocations. You've got the Arizona Coyotes probably going to have to relocate, and are they going to go to a former market? Are they going to go to a new market? It's endless. Your topics are endless, man. So it's cool. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it really is. And I want to bring a swing to it that's not so boring, that the casual fan can enjoy that, and you don't have to be a business person, and try to help to break down some of the the legalities and the lingo that these sports franchises use and that attorneys use, and try to bring it down to a perspective where just the casual fan can understand it and quite honestly probably enjoy sports a little more because they know some of the inner workings of what's going on.
Right, and like I said, it has such an impact on the roster now, on so many different things, that it's like if you're really into a team, it's behoove you to kind of understand what's going on with the numbers too. It's not just about prospects and this guy's available for trade. It's like, yeah, but if you trade him, like what does that mean for the future? Because of what are you gonna have to give up to get him, or what are things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all those cap hits make huge differences. And quite honestly, some teams, just how we're seeing with the Oakland A's now, they only have so much they're willing to spend. And that has a lot to do. And that relocation for them, will that franchise decide that they want to actually start spending some money when they get it to Vegas?
Right. I mean, and that's kind of in baseball being the notoriously the most spendy of all sports is like, I mean, that and international soccer, but it's like guys make a lot of money. So and the Oakland A's ownership does not have a lot of money, so they need backers. And I think moving to a market like Vegas, I mean, look, Tom Brady just invested in the Raiders. There's some money for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's you've got to it can't just be the mom and pops that own the MLB teams forever anymore, because there's too much money involved. You got to have corporate backing. You've got to have people.
You're absolutely right.
That's the way it is, And I just talked about this, but I saw a clip. I don't know if you saw it. Patrick Mahomes talking about his upcoming contract, and basically, Patrick Mahomes is like forever kind of seems like the most genuine of guys. When he's interviewed, he's very, very upfront, very kind of seems like a regular dude, and he had a very regular dude response of like, I've already made enough money for my kids and my grandkids and everybody to be comfortable. So it's like, not that I don't want to make what I'm worth, but when you become a professional athlete, yes, you want to make money, and yes, you're deserving of the money because of how much money the club makes, but you also want a legacy. And when you're Patrick Mahomes and you're on the brink of, and already one of the greatest of all time in such a short time, but on the brink of maybe being the best of all time if you can keep this up for another 5 years, that means more to him. So he's like, you got to find that balance. But if I can ask for Aaron Rodgers money, I can ask for Lamar Jackson money, but who are you going to be able to put around me at that point? You know what I mean? And a lot of his guys are getting older, so they're going to have to be replacing pieces. So the money's going to have to be there.
Yeah, it's just like we saw. Yeah, I mean, we saw that here in Dallas with Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks. He was taking team-friendly deals and restructuring his contract damn near yearly just so that they could help put a team around him to
be
succeed.
Successful. Yeah, and one of the, it's the biggest conundrum of all time of how the heck a guy like Tom Brady can be the best football player of all time, but he's not a great athlete. He's got a great mind, and part of that mind was doing that same type of thing that Dirk did, of like making sure that there's money to get him some guys that can catch the damn ball and and keeping guys around that are essential to the team's success. And, so that's kind of a double-edged sword, because you know what I mean? We're all working guys, so you want the working man to make their money, you know what I mean? And I also don't want to be the crotchety old, like, you get to put a ball in a hoop for a living. You just shut up and play. It's like, no, because everybody else is making...
But the thing about that is they only... Yeah, and they only have a certain amount of time that they can do that. Their bodies, Tom Brady was kind of a freak to be able to go as long as he has. LeBron James, as many years as he has. Like,
that's
these guys,
generational,
relatively to a career we could have a small window to really make that money.
And that's, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like, if you really sit down and look at it, and look at the rosters of like the most successful teams, it's like that's usually who it ends up being. You know, it ends up being a team of not necessarily like the complete underdog. That happens every once in a while, but a team that nobody's really outshining anybody, but everybody's just doing their job, and it's like, and it just, you go out there and every sport's different with, what that means. You know what I mean? Like, basketball specifically is, you need your stars to put up numbers. You need your top guys to put up numbers, but similar in that way to hockey and basketball, kind of in the same vein, is like, yeah, but when those guys are off, hopefully you've got your bench guys that come out and can. They don't have to have the game of their life, but if you got two bench guys that are playing a good game, they can make up for one star that's having an off night. You know what I mean?
And that's something Ash and I've talked about on our show as well, is what teams really these super teams that are built. There's very few of them that are actually winning championships.
Right.
You couldn't even put Golden State into that because that was a developed team there. They drafted that team. They didn't, outside of bringing KD in for a year, that team was developed.
All homegrown, and that's it. But, I guess being whatever your local team is, that. But then peripherally, you just see, they're winning they're winning everything. You know what I mean? Like, they bought that team. It's like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. No. And they would have won
that.
A
stellar coach, and they knew how to develop and find talent.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have ever thought Steph Curry would be a reigning MVP?
It's crazy.
At his stature, and who could just throw up any shot and it goes in.
The best shooter of all time, out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere. And it's just...
Yeah.
But that's again, I keep saying it gets like warm, but it's like the beauty of sports. Right. It's like
that's why we watch sports, and that's why for me, I am such a sports fan. Yeah. Is because of that. I love to see that underdog come in and win. Well,
and like when you're a kid and you're playing sports and you're coming up, like none of us were ever destined to be LeBron James. But at the lowest level, every week when I go out and play hockey, like when that puck goes in the net, you're just like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe I did that. Like, and it's like, you see that even a professional hockey, there's a reason that the celebrations in hockey are so epic, and every goal at any moment in the game is a big giant dog pile and celebrate, because it's so hard to, the goalies are so good, and like it's just like it's a celebration. It's like that's why I don't like when they take away the NFL celebrations, and it's like, yeah, we don't need vulgar stuff out there, but it's like, no, because that's a big deal to them. That is literally
enjoy it.
Their whole life is like dedicated to taking the ball over that line.
Well, and that even goes back to the same thing as like when we were kids playing, there's no celebrating. They don't want you to, be a good sport. Right. Dude, we're never going to get the chance to be on TV to celebrate. Let the kids celebrate.
And that it teaches you, it makes you want to be part of the celebration. So maybe you'll go out and, hit a few more balls. Maybe you'll go out and, do a few more dekes in the street and whatever. Like, it's just like, as a kid, it's all about that. And it's like, I don't think celebration is unsportsmanlike at all. No. Right? And as a person,
it pisses off the other guy where he's going to decide, you know what? I'm not going to let this guy score because I don't want him celebrating on me.
And that's
Maybe
what I
work a little harder for that.
That's what I tell. Like at our hockey team. That's my thing, and it's just like, don't get mad. Like, just go out there. If you can't stop him, that's our fault. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in MMA, it's like it's my most hated argument is like when people like George St. Pierre, like, okay, whatever, but like all he ever did was just wrestle people. He just laid on them. It's like they couldn't get up. Like that, like if they were,
there's a lot more to it than that.
Get up. If he's just laying on you, get up and don't let him. It's like they can't, and that's the point. He's mastered something to the point that no one can stop it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Tyreek Hill has speed. He has developed speed that no one can touch him if he gets off the line and the ball is thrown at the perfect trajectory every time. There's nobody who can stop him. Right? And it doesn't happen perfect every time. So it's, that's why sports are sports.
Yeah.
But there's certain people who have developed certain talents that are almost unstoppable. And then that's fun to see. And then it's also to see the guys who have to work a little bit harder, work hard enough and figure out ways to disarm that person or, defensemen in the NHL. Yeah. Like, Connor McDavid's probably going to end up being the greatest scorer in NHL history, but he's not scoring hat tricks every night like Gretzky was, and it doesn't mean he's not as good as Gretzky. It just means defensemen at this point. This many years later, the game has evolved, and these guys who aren't scorers, aren't superstars, have figured out a way to keep him from scoring as much as he wants to. Like, and that's defensiveness.
Well, isn't that a fun topic to always compare? To always compare the old generations to now. You know,
Right.
that with Gretzky, like you said, and you know, MJ and LeBron always get compared.
Right.
You know, the stats of like, you know, in the NFL, all these stats are broken. It's like, well, the game's different. You know, for
So
a
much
quarterback to
different.
break a stat, the
Right.
game's so much different.
So much
You know,
different.
Michael Jordan, not that I don't think he's the greatest of all time, but Michael Jordan didn't play in an era where development and playing year round and AAU basketball like was a huge thing. Like
Right.
it's completely different.
So much different. And like coming from like an MMA background too, and like loving that sport so much, I think one of the reasons I like that sport so much is that it's kind of the only sport where you end up kind of seeing Michael Jordan face LeBron James, right? Because the careers cross, the trajectories cross eventually in that sport because it's so individual. It's not team success that's keeping a career going. If you're 40 years old and you're still winning fights, of course you're still going to be fighting, right? So if you're a champion, eventually Shogun Rua, who was considered, you know, the greatest light heavyweight of all time, came across the 22-year-old John Jones and got kneed in the face. And then he wasn't the best anymore. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that he wasn't great in that era. But that's why I think I kind of like the Mount Rushmore rather than the one greatest of all time. You know what I mean? I like. There's a Mount
or even
Rushmore.
the passing of the torch. You know,
Right.
that's a good way to look at it too.
Exactly. It's like it doesn't have to be this guy is better than this guy. It's like in MMA, it's like, yeah, when that guy got to that guy, this one was better. But it's like we're never going to see a 20-year-old version of this guy fight a 20-year-old version of this guy. We're never going to see a prime MJ versus a prime LeBron. You know, like, the debate goes on forever for that. So I kind of just like putting them all up there and let's just move on. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a Hall of Fame for a reason. It's not one guy per generation that gets in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? It's a lot of guys that get in there. So I like to celebrate everybody. But all right, before our internet goes out again, dude, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And I can't wait for your show to come out this weekend. And what do you got?
Yeah, man. You know, on behalf of all the suits here in Texas, you know, we want to tell you, you and Joey, man, you guys are doing a great job on the show.
That.
I mean, ratings are through the roof. We couldn't be happier to have you guys as part of the team.
I've always been waiting for like people to join in on this whole thing because it's so much fun and we can grow it faster with like a bigger group of us and a bigger range, you know?
Yeah. And actually you know, if all the listeners and watchers, you know, keep following us because we've got a lot of stuff coming this summer.
Yeah.
You know, my show will debut next week, but
the content will just get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this whole thing is fantastic. I appreciate you guys.
Man, I appreciate you.
That was me and Tony Nix. What a wonderful suit that guy is. He wasn't wearing a suit though.
What a beauty, huh?
You know. But yeah, check out his podcast coming up on Friday. That's going to be a good one. Bigger and better things here for Peak One Sports. Joey, you got some quickies for us?
I do got some quickies for us, dude.
What do you got?
I kind of wanted to. We talked a little bit about it, but I want you to kind of. I want you to kind of help us get into that mindset, Cole. So I'm going to set the scene, okay?
Okay.
All right. You're up 3-1 in the series.
Okay.
Right now it's 2-2. We're tied.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're down by 2. You're down by 2.
Okay.
Okay, close your eyes.
You're up 3-1 or I'm up 3-1?
You guys are up 3-1 in the series.
And
okay?
we're down.
Yes, you're down by 2 in the game.
Okay.
Okay. There's 2 minutes left. You've already been out for 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Okay. You're talking about hockey, right?
I am talking about hockey. Okay. The goalie is pulled.
Okay.
And you got to score 2 in order to get just to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
What's going through your head right now?
I'm a player.
Yes. Imagine you're Jack Eichel in this situation, like last night.
Okay, last night. All right. What's going through my head is
remember, you've already been out for 1 minute and 15, and you got 2 minutes left, and he's keeping everybody out. You got 6 men on the ice, no goalie.
Well, if you're a forward like Jack Eichel, I'm just trying to go for the get in front of the net, cause some traffic.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the extra skater. The goalie's pulled. Right?
I'm talking about the pressure, right? Because we've been. I mean, it's beer league, it's dirt league, but we've had that pressure because nobody wants to lose.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So I think in that moment, because hockey is such a team sport,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a lot of individual pressure. You know, it's not like being up to bat in a baseball game or being a quarterback and having to throw that perfect ball or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're one guy and there's 6 skaters out there. The goalie's been pulled. You've got 3 guys that are there to keep the puck from getting out of the zone. If you're a forward like Jack Eichel, you're just trying to make, your job is to just be a pain in the ass in front of the goalie and take away his sight. So I think pressure-wise, it's kind of the same pressure because you don't really, in hockey, or at least in my experience, when the goalie's pulled, you don't really think about the empty net because you're already losing.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you lose by 3 or lose by 2, you're still losing the game, Rod. But so I think the pressure, I think, is already into the next game when you're up in a series, right? Because it's like if we bury this one, it's over.
Right.
So there's really no pressure there. If you lose, the series ain't over.
Right.
Right. So I think last night, Jack Eichel, Cole Eichel out there, I don't think he was feeling like a ton of pressure. I think you're just out there trying to do your job, and if you're out there pushing people around and trying to slam a puck into the back of a net, I don't know what do you think? I don't
know. I was just thinking about the type. I felt like it was a lot of pressure, man. You look at those guys, and like you were explaining to me, that ice hockey is way different than roller hockey, right?
Sure.
I mean, you're getting way tired, way faster, and he's already out there for a minute and 15, which is pretty long time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for hockey,
And he kept them out there for like another, like I think one of the guys was out there for like 3 minutes or something, like some crazy amount of time.
But I guess if there's any type of pressure in hockey, it is that first line where it's like, no, this is your time to be out there for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? And I think they all can do that. I think they don't do that to keep everybody's gas tank at a manageable level. But when there's 2 minutes left in the game, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think they feel that as far as like, I'm too tired to be out here.
Okay.
If it's 2 minutes left in a power play or a penalty kill in the second period, yeah, you can be too tired to be fucking out there. But it's 2 minutes left in the game. You need to bury one, and you need to bury 2. It's kind of low pressure when you're down by 2 because the odds of you getting 2 in the next 2 minutes are almost 0.
Right. And then with the net being empty too, it's pretty much just like
right.
We could lose.
So I think in that particular situation, I think if you were down by 1 goal, and you were in that situation, with 2 minutes left, it's a lot different because then your odds are way up.
That question just kind of popped into my head because they called that timeout right there, and they started talking about how long these guys were on the ice, and it was just like, wow, man, I don't know. I feel like I'd be like, fucking hard to breathe. Not because I'm tired, but more because of like just the pressure and trying to just end it tonight because that's all you need is the one game. Right. You know what I mean? So if they win tonight,
of course,
it's over, and then they can get some rest time.
Right. No, I mean, you take it to that Boston and Heat series is Jimmy Butler buries 3 straight free throws at the end of that game to take the lead with 3 seconds left.
Right.
The game's over. The series is over in their eyes. Except for Jimmy Butler, because what's the first thing he does when he goes on the bench? He goes, we need one more stop. Right? And you're sitting there as a spectator in 3 seconds and then inbound and blah, blah, and you're like, yeah, you're going to get it, though. Like, it's 3 seconds,
Right.
And they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck. Like, is that pressure or is that just the other team overcoming their pressure of losing?
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, and I think, that's a hard question. I think it's probably different for everybody and a different.
Maybe I asked about the wrong team.
No,
like you said,
no,
because like you said, Dallas is overcoming their pressure of if I lose this game tonight.
But then at the end of the game,
home.
they were already up by 2, so then they're kind of low pressure there at the end of the game too.
And then you could say with those last
2.
5 minutes, I mean, they had the pressure brought to them by LA. They hardly left the zone, unless for that. I'm sorry, Vegas. Yeah. Yes. So
I know I forget about them too because they're barely even a team.
Exactly,
barely even a city.
Yeah, get what fucking 10 years under your belt and then come talk to us.
Get out of here. With that Vegas shit.
So I don't know if you're familiar with WWE and there's a new production that has been coming.
I told you I'm down with kayfabe, bro.
There's another production that's made huge waves. It's called AEW.
AEW, yeah.
They released a video game,
wrestling.
Dude. They released a video game called Fight Forever.
Okay.
All right. If you've played any of the old WWE games, it's very, resemblance to that. It looks pretty good, but people are like, I thought it looked decent, but people are just tearing it apart because of the graphics. Yeah.
Oh, the graphics are bad?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely have to put some of those up in the
Which
corner.
the 2K isn't any better because WWE is now EA. So, the 2K genre and stuff, like, they don't, I mean, I mean, they don't really put too much into the character customization thing. You know what I mean? Right. Just because, I mean, you're wearing gear most of the time. You know what I mean? But now, in stuff like this, it matters more because you see the person's face. They dress a certain way.
Oh yeah.
So it's just funny to see there's almost between the two.
And AEW, they just made like a big giant deal, right, with a network or something like that. They're coming up. They're a big.
They are. I think they're like because for a long time it was Ring of Honor. That was like going up against WWE, but AEW.
When I was coming up, it was WCW versus WWF.
Right.
They were, and then
Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon, dude. Yeah.
And like the NWO and everybody and Sting. And all those guys, it was like all the cool guys I liked from WWF went over to WCW, so I had to watch it.
So that's what's going on now. They have a lot of veteran guys in WWE who go over to AEW.
Diamond Dallas Page. Oh, yeah.
Bang! Yeah, no. Yeah. And then my last thing is I just want to give a huge shout out to I Train Hockey on Instagram. I sent you one of his videos.
I Train Hockey.
At I Train Hockey. Mm-hmm. Sean Walker is doing some great things over there with his training stuff, and I really wish that I would have seen his videos when I was playing because, I mean, the passion in his voice when he's talking to these kids and the way that he's describing things, I mean, he's talking about just putting in that extra work, really. I mean, to create space, to always have your stick down, you know what I mean? That's a huge difference right there because, I mean, maybe you can't get open. The other team is infinitely better at skating than you are, but as long as you have that stick down, there's a chance that your teammate will be able to pass to you and get it to you right away, and it's just the passion in his voice, man, that really gets me.
Yeah, so. And honestly, like anybody out there who's trying to learn a sport or hockey specifically or any sport where it takes technique and there's tips and tricks and things that you may not know. People online are such a good resource. Yeah, like we have a guy on Loosey Goosey now, Dylan, who until our first game this season had never even played an organized game of hockey. He's only played in the street. Wow. Just hitting the puck around, and that's all he's been doing all week, every week before every game is watching YouTube and Instagram hockey guys like this. Yeah. To like learn stuff, and you can see it in his game every week. It's crazy, and he's a younger guy, so it's like it's obviously old dog new tricks. Young dog gets all the tricks. I don't know, but like young dog learns, dude, and like. You can see it in his game that in the past like 5 weeks. Yeah, and not to discredit like Coach Jeremy with How To Hockey. No, fuck them. Or Pavel Barber. We're an I Teach Hockey. Yeah, I train hockey. I train hockey. Yeah, we're an I Train Hockey podcast. Yeah, he's crazy cool, man, and like his speed, the way that he was talking about trying to create space. Instead of just once this way and then coming over 3 this way, he's talking about do 3 this way and 5 this way. But that's his mentality. He's push, right? Push. I think the video I sent you was talking about to make your shot more powerful, right? So instead of making 3 pushes and gliding and shooting, it's push all the way through and then shoot. You know what I mean? Right. To carry that momentum all the way through. And it's just stuff to keep in your brain, man, when you're playing. And, well, shoot, dude. Hey, Justin. You want to be on the Bungalow Sports Show? I'll hit him up. Maybe we'll get him on this show. And then so that's it for Joey's Quickies? That's it for Joey's Quickies. All right. Last week's pick results, pretty good for old Joe over here. Yeah. Joey went 3-0. I went 2-1. The Knights beat the Stars in game 2. Turned out not to matter because the Stars have since then come right back and have that series 3-2 right now. But Joey picked the Knights in that one. I picked the Stars because I will never pick the Knights. So I'll take that loss on the chin and be happy with it. Florida beat Carolina in game 3 and obviously in game 4. We already talked about sweep that. Daddies. We both picked that on the Sweep Daddy train. And then same thing with the Nuggets. Same thing with the Sweep Daddies game 4 Lakers Nuggets. We both went Nuggets and the Sweep Daddy train rolls on. This week's picks, we got 2 main games, 1 possible game, and we're getting so down to the wire in these playoffs. There's no other sports that really matter right now, so we're just going hockey and basketball. We've got Heat Celtics game 7 tonight. If you're watching this on Monday, if you're watching it after Monday, it's already happened. So what do you think is going to go down in game 7? I really want the Celtics to pull through. You really do? I really do. At this point, so do I. Yeah. Because if I'm a sweep daddy, I'm also a comeback daddy. Yeah.
Oh,
come
yeah.
back, sweep daddy, come back baby. Dude.
I'm very easily swayed. So,
Oh, yeah.
I'll be like, oh, he's going to sweep him. And then
well, we're playoff experts.
That's right.
So yeah, if the Heat up 3-0, I'm a sweep daddy. Sweep them.
But once
do it.
But once Celtics start breaking barriers, I find myself,
But this is almost like a sweep in the other direction.
right? Yeah.
I mean, it will
it's
be
even worse, right? It's even worse.
Definitely even worse, and
Yeah.
more. This will be the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's go Celtics, baby.
yeah, reverse sweep daddies right here. We're both going Celtics on that one because it's also just like we talk about all the time with teams that you really don't care about. It's all about the story,
Right.
and the only thing that's better than a sweep is coming back from 3-0 and winning in a game 7.
Beautiful.
So, Stars Knights game 6 again tonight. If you're watching this on Monday,
It'll be tonight. Yeah.
I mean the Stars were in control of that game.
I'm. See, now it's a different game though because
I mean,
Jamie
you know what
Ben's
I'm
back.
picking because I can't.
You
I will
can't.
not
Yeah, you
pick the
can't.
Knights.
So I think here's what's gonna happen. I
Okay.
think that Jamie Ben's gonna be back. They're in their own barn. It's a big night. I think the Stars will take Game 6. Unfortunately, I have to pick the Knights for Game 7 if it goes to it.
So that's what we're doing. Our third game is going to be Stars and not Sharks. Freudian slip. Stars Knights game 7 if needed. So if I have my druthers and Joey has his druthers, the Stars will win game 6.
Yes.
And then they go to game 7, and Joey, obviously, because he loves debauchery and filthy cities and terrible people, he's going to pick the Knights in game 7.
See,
and
this
me,
is guys. This
because
is the reason.
I am a company man and I enjoy everything from Texas.
Look at me for a second, okay? You see what Cole's doing right now? He's arguing with his emotions. This is why you need Betalytics, right? Take a look at it. Take a look at the real AI-generated algorithms.
Promo code PEAK1.
Promo code PEAK1, 25% off. Don't bet with your feelings, guys. Do not bet with your feelings. Betalytics.
Damn, no, I can't. It's hard to argue with that. It's hard to argue with that. Go use that promo code and see if Joey's right on the Knights in a if needed game 7. All right, this show is over, but we got some shout outs. My first shout out is this one. Team Canada teammates Mary Phillip Pullen and Laura Stacy have announced their engagement. Congratulations, ladies. I enjoy all sexualities.
Yeah.
I enjoy whatever you want to do with your life. So this is great. I think it's more transparent in the world, and people aren't ashamed to be themselves in the world anymore, like they might have been when we were kids.
This is the only time I will give Canada props.
But
right now.
because I am such a child and degenerate, my sense of humor is just so stupid. All I can think about is if like Radko Gudas and Matthew Tkachuk came out and were just like, hey, you know what? These playoffs have really brought us together. The other night after I scored that last second game-winning goal, I was changing.
I got that good job, bud.
I felt a fluffy beard brushing the back of my shoulder, and as I turned around, I just saw those big Radko eyes, and we decided that we want to spend the rest of our lives together. You know what I mean? I don't know if the world would react the same.
I feel like we're losing subscribers.
Okay, we won't go there. All right. Are we losing subscribers because we're making light of the situation, or losing subscribers because we're talking about gay people? Period.
Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations, Mary and Laura. Mary Philippe.
Mary Philippe.
That's that French double first name.
Yeah, it is, dude.
For a woman, you rarely see that in a woman.
Do you think they're gonna take each other's last names, or do you think they'll do like a hyphenated, or do you think they're just gonna
me and
stay?
my wife didn't take my last name, so
Okay.
We're woke daddies over here. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they are athletes with their names on their jerseys, so I'm sure they might keep their last names just to differentiate while on the ice. I don't know. And okay, last shout out, and this one's my favorite one of the week. This one is
Alexander Barkov.
Alexander Barkov, and for those of you who don't watch hockey, You may not be aware of the abundant use of smelling salts. They use them a lot. They use a lot of things to kind of get them going when they're on
Give
that
them a
bench
jolt.
because it's a tiring sport, man. And you got to get out there and you got to, for those 2 minutes, like Joey was talking about, being out there over 2 minutes is an eternity in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those 2 minutes that you're out there, you want to be firing on all cylinders.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And this was caught in the game the other night. This is Alexander Barkov, captain of the Florida Panthers, and just this absolute epic smelling salt usage. Oh, my God.
He's another one that's been there his entire He's been there his entire career.
Yeah, he has.
To the eyes, baby. Yes.
Woo, what? He got both eyes.
He did so much.
He's just like, I gotta get up
Like
there.
that was so much.
So much.
I don't. If you guys haven't used smelling salts before, you don't need that much.
He did, dude. And he didn't even score the game winner. Watch, like, I don't even know when this was in the game because I didn't see it live. I saw it as a clip afterwards.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm like, it would be epic if you hit those salts like that, jumped over the boards and went and
And just
scored the
scored.
goal.
Yeah,
But, part of me hopes that, like, 3 seconds after he hit those salts, Kachuk put that goal in and the game was over. And he's in the locker room, like just going nuts.
Oh,
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
shout out to Barkov, dude.
Oh man.
He's got that Captain C for a reason. It should be a Captain S for salts, dude.
Salts.
Because he hit those eyes. I've never seen anybody hit the eyes with the smelling salt.
That's insane, dude.
That's nuts.
You don't need to hit your eyes.
Some
It's already
Russian-
in your eyes
That's
after
some
you
Russian
smell it.
torture, like
Yeah, it is.
self-torture shit,
For
dude.
sure.
Like that is, I mean, going up the nose with the smelling salts is bad enough.
Insane. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
'Cause
getting those fumes in those eyes,
that's amazing.
that was crazy, dude. It was fucking barbaric.
And it's just
Yeah. Just hit those eyeballs, baby.
oh man. Wow.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this week. Thanks for coming, Joey. Always.
Thank you for
It's always a
having me.
pleasure. Thank you, Tony Nix. Check out Sports Biz on
Like,
Friday.
subscribe, comment.
Like,
you know?
subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Turn on the little bell on the YouTube so when the new episodes come out, it sends you an alert.
Beautiful.
And
Betalytics.
Betalytics.com, promo code PEAK1 for 25% off. Don't bet with your
emotions. Bet with that algorithm, baby.
That's right. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.